Ladies and gentlemen, I have the great good fortune to invite one of my favorite poets, Miss Karen Pierce Gonzalez, a marvelous, incomprehensibly wonderful poet and artist and sculptor and a great soul. So Karen, welcome.
Thank you so much, kind sir. I feel fortunate to have been invited by you to participate in one of your fabulous programs, your great endeavors, my friend.
Well, I call this Poets of the East, not for the geographical sense of it, but for the spiritual sense of it, that I believe that every poet is a star, a sunrise. And when I look to that poet, that is the East.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow. What vision, my friend?
You are a star, my dear, and I mean that in the most spiritual sense of that, not in
Bless you.
any
Bless you. Bless you.
any filmic sense.
Yes.
So, as you know, I
Just
have a
don't
few
burst on the stage, that's all.
space
Okay.
time. Absolutely. If I could do this in hologram, I would do it and give you a heck of a hug. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I owe you.
Okay. Okay, boyfriend.
Okay. So the first question is,
Mhm.
what's the earliest book you can remember from your childhood?
The very earliest, The Cat in the Hat, Dr. Seuss.
Okay. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Now, those childhood books meant so much to us.
Hmm.
And sometimes our parents joined in writing some you know playful stuff, and sometimes we wrote a little something with the help of mom or dad. And I was wondering, from those early books,
Hmm.
did any of them last? Did you kept around into your high school, into your later life?
Oh boy, I wish I would have, but I don't, on some level, I don't need to. I have them in here. I mean, I'll
Absolutely.
never forget the pleasure and the joy
Yeah.
that I received from the lyricism, the melodic quality of the work, the clever word usage. Never, those have never left me. But no, I did not retain them in the physical.
Okay. Next question.
Hmm.
Now, those uh, those early writing experiences, we all, most of us anyway, had lots and lots of school age uh, lessons. We had to write this, we had to write that, and we did writing as it was important to do. But there also are those things that we began to write for fun or for kind of diary purposes or journaling
Hmm.
purposes. When did you start writing for fun?
Okay, so let me answer the question this way. I had an extraordinarily abusive childhood, and so
Uh,
writing it, I am here, and I'm whole. Writing is a methodology for me to know myself and to say what it is I need to say in whatever format. As I referenced earlier in our pre-show conversation, I am genre fluid. I can move across any genre. I've been a journalist, the whole thing. So what I want to say is from the early days, I would read something and then try to rewrite it in my own way.
wow, how
And
nice.
sometimes that would include books. I mean, kids' books, so we're not
Yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah,
novels,
yeah, yeah,
right?
of course.
But I would rewrite them and I would see how the author had chosen that word or had done this or that. And I would mimic them in some fashion. And I loved nothing more than blank binder paper and pencils. And I could not wait to fill every page. And I would write, as I do today, prose, poetry, essays. It's the whole whatever the content, whatever form the content required, I would try to provide. And then in my teen years, I became aware of the beat poets. And no, I am not a beat poet. I'm not beat poet material, but their brazenness, their breaking the rules in ways that were successful linguistically, I really liked that. Okay, so I've been writing since the beginning of my time here. And every form, I mean, in elementary school, I was writing school plays, I was writing comedy hours, I would get Friday afternoon. I had great teachers. They understood. I would have the class Friday afternoons, and I would create comedy shows and plays, and I would redo plays like The Wizard of Oz. I'd rewrite them in different ways, and I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that's what I needed to do, and that's what I could do. And I could do that unfettered because it was my personal thing, so to speak. I did get suspended a couple times in junior high school for the things I wrote. Some letters, and you just don't, even though you don't intend to send them to teachers, you shouldn't write them.
Absolutely. Believe me, I know what you're talking
Right?
about.
I mean, so there were times when I was penalized for my writing. Just a real quick note, my father used to go through my journal and read it. So, I mean, it was that bad. So
Uh,
so I was penalized. So I had to learn to be very careful about what I wrote
right,
and what I didn't write.
right.
But over time, it was here anyway. It's like a font. It's not going to stop given
Right.
external circumstances. So here I am. I've been a journalist. I've been a playwright. I've been a book reviewer. I've been a this, a that. I mean, you name it, and I've done it because I can. I've been blessed with that capacity to love the way words can work
Well,
and what they can create. Yeah.
I have absolute sympathy with your flexibility of genre. The
Mm.
way I call
Yeah.
myself an information sculptor. Sometimes I'm
Oh,
sculpting
wow.
with words, sometimes I'm
Oh,
sculpting with
wow.
images, sometimes I'm sculpting with moving video,
Oh, I
sometimes
love
slideshows,
it.
and
I
sometimes I
love
sculpt
it.
in wood or paper or cardboard. Yeah, I
Well,
completely get
I
what you're
mean,
saying.
you have to be, at least some of us need to be multidimensional. I could never just do one because it's not appropriate. Like if I have a failed short story, I'll convert it into a play, right? Or a failed poem, I'll make into microflash or whatever. I mean, there's no need to stop or get stuck,
Yep, yep.
right? So yeah.
Wonderful,
Wow.
wonderful.
Wow.
Now, let me ask you about school writing. Did you
Hmm.
participate in school newspapers or yearbooks or literary magazines and stuff?
Yes, I did. I was assigned to high-end English classes in junior high school, and I was really initially offended by that because it required something of me. And what I found was, I found that I rose to the occasion. I became the editor of the school newspaper. I became this. I became on this yearbook committee. It was organic, and also I understand orchestration and the symphonic quality of structure in terms of being able to put things together. And there's no reason something can't be put together. Just got to find a way to do it, right? And so that's,
Absolutely.
so yeah, so I did all of that, and I always swore I would never be a journalist, never in my lifetime. And then I became a journalist in my lifetime
Yeah.
because it was paid. It was a paid occupation. And in my case, I got to develop my own beat. Now, keep in mind, for listeners as well, I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area. It is a hot spot for Dharma centers, okay, for cultural whatever. So I got to interview the Dalai Lama twice. I got to have tea with, wait a minute, tea with Thich Nhat Hanh. Okay.
Wow.
I got to, meet with Arvo Looking Horse of the Sioux Nation, who's a 19th generation keeper of the white buffalo calf pipe that Sitting Bull
Wow.
smoked, right?
Wow.
I got to the Grand Mufti of Turkey and Cyprus, the Patriarch of the Orthodox world, the Greek, the Eastern Orthodox world, and on and on and on it goes because anthropologically and spiritually, I could see it all.
That's
So
wonderful.
as a journalist, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. That was
Ah,
my
ah.
beat. That became my beat. And every conversation I
Oh
had
my
with someone
God.
was very deep and rich. And I always came away nourished and complete,
Yeah.
more complete. So don't ever swear you won't do something because it could be the very thing you need to do.
Yeah.
So
I
for
had the good
years, I mean,
fortune to meet Ram Dass.
oh yeah, I know. I knew Ram Dass. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I was teaching yoga at the time
Oh my gosh,
in
where?
the Hollywood
Where?
area, Hollywood, Florida.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he was coming to Miami. And, this is what, the early 70s. So,
Okay.
pre-internet, pre all that stuff, and word of mouth was the only way that the spiritual community, which is, as
Wow,
you well
Richard.
know, so fully diverse, right?
Right, exactly.
Uh, we're at the local occult bookstore. We heard Ram Dass is coming in a week or two. We wanted to buy tickets. They'd gone on sale that morning and were sold by noon. Okay.
Oh my God.
In Miami. Okay. So,
Okay.
my students
Wow.
and I was teaching from Be Here Now because I am that sort of eclectic person
Oh,
who
okay.
uses all the different systems, pranayama,
Yeah,
kundalini,
yeah.
and chanting the whole gamut of things. So my
Wow.
students were thrilled. We're going to go see Ram Dass, and I said, look, here's the thing. If they're selling tickets at the door, they promised us they'd be selling tickets at the door. We'll go several hours early. We'll start
Yes.
chanting Om. Things will happen. Good things will happen. So about 12 of us go down to Miami. It's about a
Oh,
60-mile drive. We're there at 9 o'clock in the morning. We form our circle. We're doing some oming, building up the energy. We were also doing, chi exercises, sending
yeah,
prana back and
yes.
forth. And so we got a good energy going. And as people started to accumulate, getting in line, they're like, oh, cool. And some joined in, and others just watched or giggled or whatever. Well, long story short, when they finally do get someone at the door, he says now they've sold out. They were going to save tickets, but it didn't happen. So sorry, good luck. See you later. And I said, that's okay. We're going to stay. Something, there is nothing that's impossible. So
Right,
we're
right,
still
right.
there. We're chanting Om.
Oh
A
my
friend
gosh.
drops by. She just got back from a month-long meditation in Taos, and she brought
Mm-hmm.
back a bunch of peyote. She said, you guys want some peyote? Absolutely, we'll have some peyote because we combine psychedelics as part of our meditative practice, right?
Uh-huh,
So
sure.
we're really, really enjoying our time there chanting. The doors open, the crowd goes in. We're still there chanting, and some of my students are going, Rick. I mean, what's happening? Didn't the doors? It didn't. I said, look, if you need to go, go. If you want to stay, I'm staying. I think the impossible happens every day. So we're
Wow.
still chanting. Coming down the sidewalk is Ram Dass.
Yeah, right.
He stops at our circle and he said, I've been greeted a lot of wonderful ways, but this is wonderful. Okay,
Oh,
let's go in. And we said, well, sir, there's no room in the inn. They say there's nothing, no space for us. He said, let me see what I can do. So he's gonna
wow.
force the gate for us, right?
Yeah, yes,
He
yes, yes,
walks
yes.
in, gone for 10 minutes, comes back out. He says, they tell me that there's no room, but I've got an idea. Come with me. So he had us sit with him on the stage for his
Ah,
lecture and satsang. Not a
perfect.
bad,
No, that's not a. Oh my God, that's fabulous. And Ram Dass was great. He had a. I interviewed him. Was He's a great sense of humor. Really a funny. And he's from this. He's from where I am. He's from geographically in my
right,
hood, right?
right.
And really a nice guy. You're very fortunate. Can I share with you one funny
Please
Dalai
do,
Lama
please do.
story? Oh, okay. So this is maybe 30 years ago, the Dalai Lama, it wasn't as rigid to go see. I mean, we had to go through security checks and everything,
Oh, sure.
background checks, but it's in San Francisco near the city hall, and which is a popular place for homeless people. It's great
Okay.
climate, lots of beautiful grass,
Yeah.
whatever. So we're surrounded with people who are homeless, and we're inside the building with the Dalai Lama, and all the journalists are there, and everyone's asking questions, and they're asking the classic question, why world suffering? I mean, just, they did the same thing with Swami
Oh
Prabhupada, the
yeah. Oh
Krishna
yeah.
order.
Oh yeah.
It's just that why we're all suffering, whatever, whatever, whatever. Came my turn. And one of my questions was, what do you do for fun?
Great question.
Okay. And he leaned forward as he does. I mean, he is like, if you've ever been in his presence, he is vibrant, he
I bet.
radiates.
I bet.
And he always has a translator with him. He leaned forward, looked at me for just a minute, turned back to his translator, said something, leaned back and said, I gossip. Which was so beautiful about him because at another interview he says you don't need to be in a relationship to have conflict. He says I argue with myself in my sleep. I mean, he's so real. He totally gets it. Anyway, so that was my Dalai Lama. I mean, it was great because everybody they just do the classic. it's kind of like, don't misunderstand me, but the moan and groan.
Yeah.
And we get that, but there's got to be, as in the Tao, if you have the moan, you got the laugh. You got the groan, you got the
Before
happy.
enlightenment, I chop wood and I carry water. After enlightenment, I chop wood and carry water.
Okay,
I
what?
do it like a dance. Yeah, wu wei.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, yes,
Well,
exactly.
the Drebsang Longse monks came through doing that tour where they did sacred music, sacred dance. They came to Miami,
Ooh, ooh,
and so
ooh.
it basically his house band doing
Yeah.
their spiritual show. Okay, and it was so amazing. But when I first heard about it, there's a group of wonderful, the spiritual community, well-intentioned,
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
well-intentioned people, and they said, Richard, you work at a TV station, you do TV, you do editing. Could you shoot this experience? And I said, I would be honored to record this. I said, but here's the thing. When I shoot events or I shoot commercials or whatever, I rent the equipment. I don't own the equipment. Okay. So here's
Right.
the thing. If you can rent professional grade equipment, I would be honored to do it. But
Wow.
I do not want to take somebody's home camera and try
Ugh,
to capture what is, global world class spirituality, a sacred document from the from the highest sources on the
yes,
planet.
yes.
I'm not gonna do the crayon version of that. It's
It-
wrong. I said I
yes,
would rather just experience it. They said,
yes,
Richard, no, don't worry. We'll provide the equipment. I said, okay, but please understand. I do commercial television. I know what the real world is. I know what quality television recording is. It's
wow.
not that expensive. For less than $1,000, we can do this that is
Mm,
broadcast quality, that is the top of the line. Please don't ask me to do this on a
yes,
home camera.
yes, yes,
So the day of the show, you know
yes.
exactly what happened. The guy hands me not only his home camera, but
Uh-huh,
on a your typical home camera, there's a
uh-huh.
magnifying glass that takes the really tiny image and makes it so that you can actually see something. Well, the magnifier was busted off. So I said, and now on top of that, the gentleman who hands me this, his son is standing next to him, a young man. He is Vietnamese. His son is annoyed beyond measure because he thought he was going to shoot. And I said, sir, please let your boy shoot it. He's going to
Yeah,
do fine. This
perfect,
is not the
perfect,
camera that I suggested we need.
perfect.
Let him do it. It'll be a wonderful experience. It'll be the highest of his life. He'll love it.
Wow,
He said,
yeah.
yeah, but you're a professional video cameraman. I said, yes, I am. And I explained to you the significance of this event. This isn't, hey, Disney World's knocked down
Exactly.
version of this
It's
crap.
not, it's
This
not,
is
it's
the
not a home
Dalai Lama's
video.
band, for
I
Christ's sake.
know. I know.
So anyway, I ended up shooting it for them.
Oh my
But
God, that
here's
is
the
too
good part.
funny.
Afterwards, there was a satsang, and I got invited. So when the monks are ready for questions, the first question is, so you've been touring America now for 6 months. What do you think?
Oh, I know, I know, I know, I know. That's a
So,
classic question. People,
but the
you
monk,
really don't want to know. You really don't want to know what they
the
think.
monk had the most perfect answer. He said, well, in America, you have a lot of things. I hope it helps.
Oh my God. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love,
Was
you know
that
what? It's
precious?
just, that
And on top
is,
of that, we're at this gentleman, the
yeah,
Vietnamese
yeah.
gentleman's house. He had a 25-foot tall golden Buddha in his front yard.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, wow. See, we took some Sagupa monks who are the throat singers. They're
Oh,
living a
yeah.
similar, okay, and they do the sand mandalas. When
Right.
David and I, my husband, we sponsored a sand mandala. We took the monks, the boys, to the fair on the roller coasters and all that stuff, and they just like you look at them and they're just happy as clams. So much fun to introduce them in some way. Of course, they taught our daughter how to walk through fire without getting burnt, that kind of
Wow.
stuff. And it's like, well, okay, that's good. I don't know if she needs that today, but okay. Thank you very much. But yeah, no, it's there, as anthropologically speaking, the world is vibrant with extraordinary people who devote their lives. So we don't have to.
Right.
It's just stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So, wow. I have to tell you, TV production, I just want to brag for a moment to you, TV man.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
produced two documentaries for
Good
Bay
for
Area
you.
TV, one on human trafficking of young girls
Oh my.
and another on financial abuse of elders.
Wow.
That's all I want to say. And that was, by the way, how complicated is that? Very, as you well know. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Organizing, interviewing, lighting, transport, all that stuff. And for the trafficking, it was, we had to be very careful because some of these girls had been trafficked into prostitution and,
Yeah.
I have to handle that a certain way.
Well,
But
luckily you're a spiritual person and you have some sensitivity for humans.
yeah, yes. Yeah, well, being a human myself kind of helps,
Yeah,
you
you've heard
know.
stories. Those authors that you were reading as a young person,
Mhm.
I want you to think back before you knew you were a writer.
Okay.
Which of those said to you, this is something I can do. This is something I should do. Do you remember?
Dr. Seuss.
No kidding. No
And
kidding.
that's
Yeah.
because he was prolific. There was book after book after book, and they maintained a quality,
Yeah.
right, of lyricism and really fine word choicing to create something, to create a mood. So it was just one after another, after another, after another. And it wasn't just a one-off.
Okay.
It was this,
Now,
it's what he did.
unlike most of our poet friends, you live in San Francisco. So when did you start performing poetry in public?
Started performing poetry in public. Well, okay. So then obviously in elementary school doing the plays, I was
Yeah,
always in
yeah.
the play, I was always part of the comedy stuff, but started performing poetry in public, I would say maybe a little in high school, but not much because there wasn't that much bandwidth available, wasn't much opportunity.
Right.
But certainly in college. And it was amazing. I mean, both of my degrees are special majors. They were particularly created for what I wanted because it didn't exist. I don't know what if it doesn't exist, then all I know is you got to make it. I mean, I don't know what else you're going to do. So I got to do a lot, degrees in creative writing, degrees in anthropological linguistics and folklore, because at the time those weren't degrees. But I started performing then and I started writing then, and it was just organic, my friend. It was like it was the kind of energy that was right for me to be a writer, to be a poet and to enjoy poetry and do readings. It was all part of my platform. I only would tip my toes into it because I couldn't justify it. I didn't pay the rent, right? And what do you do? But I did it anyway. And then I went and got a job as a journalist. Who does that? Right? Jeez.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But now what's happened, Richard, is my work has jumped off the page. Even all of my books, all of my published books are now converted into performance art.
Hmm.
I excerpt from them to create a scene, a
Hmm.
play or so to
Hmm.
speak, and I perform the work now.
Yeah.
And I'm now working with a set designer who is think Skywalker Ranch and Lucasfilms. Okay, he
Wow.
comes from that. Yeah, he comes from that, and he helped me with my recent installations of the sculptures. But we're creating a stage where all my women of Babylon, because they're all living women for me, 5 foot sculptures, where I will be conversing with them on stage with lighting, and he's going to be do all this because I can't do the technical.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably
You
could,
don't
but
have to. That's
yeah.
that's that's why
Thank you.
art
Thank
is a
you.
collective experience.
Okay, perfect, right? So I'm working with him now because I have the Women of Babylon, and I also have a series called Olmec Offerings, which is 6 conversations with pre-Mesoamerican deities.
Wow.
And um, he's helping me. We're doing the vision board now to create that so it can be staged, but then also filmed professionally. I mean, this what
Yeah,
this
yeah.
guy does, so it can be professionally filmed. So, on a Saturday, I got nothing else to do, right? So
Right. Right.
there you go.
Yeah, I have a piece, a play called have, Remember Your Aztec Heritage. And
Wow,
the
really?
the only murder mystery I've ever written.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
and I was thinking, well, it came to me in a dream, but yeah, I'll send it to you. It's not
I
a
would
long
love
piece.
I
Yeah,
would love to see it. Yeah, 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 yeah. And Olmec Offerings does it's for me it's flat on the page because it's living. And when I perform it, I usually get a standing ovation because it's like I become, as you know, I become the pre-Mesoamerican deities that are talking to me and that I'm talking back to. It's
right.
amazing.
Okay. We have several simpatical.
Honey, we sure do.
Okay. Okay. Um, Obviously, your teachers enabled you to create these degrees. So
Mhm.
my question about did teachers enable or make it a problem? So they obviously enabled you.
Right.
Um, Now, this is one of my technical poetry questions.
Okay.
It goes like this. There are poets who believe you should write every day. That writing
Yeah.
every day is important, whether you're inspired or not, whether you have a topic or not, just write to polish your writing. The other end of that spectrum is write only when inspiration hits you. Wait, because otherwise you're forcing it. It's not the real thing. Poetry is a force of nature, and unless it comes to you and says, "I'm a poem, capture me," it's not the right thing. So where in that
Mhm.
spectrum do you fall? Are you
Well,
dutiful writing every day, or are you, I'll wait for inspiration to come?
so, first of all, I view those as just two in the moment snapshots, not the eternal perspective on poetry. Therefore, maybe they're really finely combed spaces for people who feel the need to have that kind of parameter. My experience says, who is not to say that the photograph I just took of a vine opening up is not essential to what I'm going to do today, which may likely include poetry. Now, I will say this, or prose, or another art form. What I will say is, it's like the Tao. See, I'm a Taoist at heart. Look to
Me
the
too.
right, there's no beginning. You too, good. Look to the left, there's no end. I read a chapter of the Tao Te Ching every day and have done so for decades. But let me go back and add this to it. This I think is really important. I am confident of my skill set. So when I'm writing, it's what I'm doing. Everything else is in relationship to that. I don't worry about can I, will I, when I. And certainly I will tell you, my friend, as a journalist, and you know this on TV time, you don't get to do writer's block. That's the luxury for somebody who's eating bonbons on the beach and needs a reason for whether or not producing work. You don't get that luxury. You find a way to do what you need to do. So that's my response is it's like, at what point does a poem begin? Can you possibly extract it from its multidimensional, interdependent co-arising existence with all else? No, you cannot. That's
My
my
dear,
answer.
t talking to a mystic poet is just it is a most refreshing experience. Okay.
Thank you. But it's experience based. How to think that our conversation is going to lead to something else, Richard. If nothing else, an incredibly fabulous good time and a great feel good, which is going to make the rest of my day, it's going to be reflected in the rest of my day.
Are there themes or topics that you address regularly? Well, yeah, the multiverse, right?
Yeah, yeah. That I address regularly. Let me reframe this way. Content determines form. So if something needs to be a charita, it will be If I feel something needs to be attributed, it will be written for that form. The content will fill that form, and I will trust the outcome of that process. I do not often come up with I'm going to write about, or I'm this kind of poet that, because that would stifle every other aspect of the palette that I am. To do that, I have to trust. And again, my friend, experience has given me the confidence to trust some things, especially as a journalist. First of all, you don't get to the luxury of being attached to what you write as a journalist. Copy editors, city desk editors, layout, everybody has a hand in it. So you don't own it anymore. You just produce it, and whatever it becomes, right? Same with this. So no, I do not have categories, or I'm not this kind of poet. I will say I will not a traditional classic poet. I will say that. I don't rhyme because the content doesn't require that. My audiences don't require that. It just has to be honest and truthful and authentic. And that can be about anything, about even the recycling. I mean, that's pretty powerful. Recycling is an extraordinary life concept. Don't we all want to be recycled?
Yeah, let's hope. Okay, next question. We're coming down the home stretch.
Okay.
Do you feel a poet or an author has a responsibility to address contemporary societal issues?
Only if it's authentically addressed. Yeah, I mean, pure outrage is beautiful. Fake outrage because it's trending is not. Okay.
Although there are times when I would settle for a fake peace activist in place of some of the warmongers, but that's another story.
Well, I mean, it's
You remember those people? They would come to the rally or they come to the protest and they're wearing all the right garb and they say two or three of the right things, but it's just next scene.
yeah, and let us hope that that's only a stopover in their journey of evolution, and that they get to a place where they recognize for themselves the harm being done to themselves and then therefore others. Because sometimes unless it hurts us, we don't feel the pain for others.
Okay, I have to tell you this. I was doing
Okay.
some promotional work for an ad agency. And they said, Rick, we're doing a promotional party for the local library to raise money for the library. I'm thinking, wow, this is great. This is,
Yeah.
wow, it's nice to be attached to a good project that actually is going to do some good. Because, when you're doing stuff for money, sometimes you do
Believe me,
stuff,
I know.
you know. So I'm creating the graphics, I'm creating a web page, I'm creating the media. And then she says, well, here's the thing. I've got one problem. I just can't figure out where. I need some protest signs. I said, well, I have some in my trunk. No problem. And she goes, well, how do you have them? And I go, because I was in a protest. That's
Oh my God. Oh my God.
so.
Wow.
So I said, so are you what, hiring actors to be protesters? Yeah, she said, I got them wigs and everything. So for my own amusement,
Oh my
at the at,
gosh.
at the this dinner for the actors backstage as I'm delivering the signs, I hand them to them and very preciously say, now these are actual authentic protest signs. And they go, really? No kidding. How did you get those? And I said, well, we used them on Saturday
Oh my
protesting the current
God.
Iraq war.
Well, you know what? Like Thich Nhat Hanh said, when it rains, everyone gets a little wet. So maybe, just maybe, it may have inspired or furthered along someone's exploration of that for themselves. Right? That is
Yeah,
too funny, though. I mean,
that's
oh
absolutely right.
my God.
Absolutely.
I mean, like,
That was
talk
funny.
about not preaching to the choir.
Right. And the cherry on top was
Yeah.
at the last minute, she says to me, this is the head of the PR company. She says, Rick, what would be a perfect final moment in this, as they do the parade and stuff. She said, if we could actually have two beat poets, reciting some wild, crazy beat poetry. And I said, well, I know two poets. And she goes, yeah, who's that? I said, well, me.
Yeah.
I got a yeah, no problem. So I got paid $75 to read Howl.
No kidding. That is a riot. Oh my God. But A facsimile is a start, right? A facsimile, it can be, that is too
Oh,
funny.
and the cocktail says wandering by going, oh, isn't that quaint? Oh, look, beatniks. How nice.
One of my consultants is Clive Matson. Do you know who he is?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Clive, he's a second generation beat, right? And he's great to work with, but I'm not a beat poet because I don't rant about the sixth extinction. We're already in it. Let's just move on and, you know.
Okay. Next to the last question.
Okay.
Um, what makes a good poet?
A good poet, I think of the concept good poet, I think of someone who solid, is solid in their writing of what it is they need to say. Even if it's light, because sometimes a light touch, sometimes jello's the perfect dessert, right? That to me is a good poet, someone who is solid in what it is they want to say and saying it. That's kind of big, I know, but that to me is a good poet.
It's fine. Fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Is narrative important for poetry?
If that's what the content dictates, yes. If it's got to be, if there's a story or it's an I, me, we, us, that's okay. Sometimes it's not. I mean, image just poetry is different. It's just as effective for the right content. It's all content driven. See, that's the thing people don't understand. You can't superimpose a template onto content. One size does not fit all.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And finally, my dear, do you have a question for me?
Oh my gosh, you are such an amazing. So I do have a question for you. It's very selfish. Could you read me one of your poems?
I would be honored to.
That
I
would
would
be
be
that would be
deeply
great.
honored to.
That would tell me probably almost everything I need to know that you haven't already told me is a poem that you choose to read to me.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Give me just a moment.
Okay.
This is called Maybe, Maybe Not.
Ah, okay.
The horse farmer had a lot, and on his horses he liked a lot. His son and he would train the horses and put them through their proper courses. One day, when out their hut they strode, they care for the horses as they always should. They found a horse was missing. The people from the village offered condolence, for they thought the farmer suffered. Too bad, so sad, they shared his misery. 'Tis an awful burden you suffer thusly. 'Tis premature to say I suffer, said the farmer. Come back again after supper.
Mm.
It is premature to count calamities. Each change is pregnant and rich with possibilities. They pondered the farmer's peculiar counsel and wondered how he reached such an answer. Later on in the week appeared their missing horse, and another new. Where there'd been one lost, now there was two. What a glorious,
Wow.
magnificent luck come through! The villagers came by to celebrate, and yet the farmer made it clear 'tis yet indeterminate. He counseled sagely and nodded toward the horses. Maybe luck, and yet it's early to celebrate, which may seem clearly. They wandered away a bit confused. They had come to celebrate, but left bemused. The farmer yet was still restrained. He did not celebrate from this horse he gained. It is uncertain, good or ill, till reconciled. I'll hold my judgment till we see the
Wow.
pattern changed and rearranged. How this may work out, let's be restrained. His
Mm.
son, not content to hold these horses nor let them wander until reverses, chose to train this new horse who had joined this herd. To let it wander yet untrained seemed to him absurd. Yet, as he undertook to train this new mare, she threw him off on the stony, rough, and rocky trail. Alas! For shame, the villagers worried. How sad it is your own son's storied training skills could not break the young mare's will. And now, alas, his own leg's broken. 'Tis harsh justice. The gods have spoken. 'Tis too early, the farmer stated. 'Tis far better we wait unbated, whether we proclaim our woes related nor celebrate our fate untreated. It's true, my boy has a broken leg, yet far from certain what burdens and sadness there must be therein contained. And just then, the chieftain of the tribe rides into the village, brings his men inside. He needs army ready for war. They're rounding up young men and add to the force. If my son was well, he'd be off to war. What terrible battle would be in store? And since his leg is broken, he cannot ride. Is this fortune or misfortune? They seem yet to collide. The neighbors are puzzled. They cannot decide. Is this solemn? And it stops there.
Wow. Wow. That is, it's a metaphor, obviously. It's a ballad. It's a gorgeous ballad. It's a lesson. It's a life lesson. It's folk wisdom, right?
Yeah.
And and your style, your choice of formatting fits the content because it's an easy gate, no pun intended, for the listener to be able to enjoy it at whatever level he or she is at in terms of poetry, but it's readily accessible. And I like the way the ending doesn't end the story. Because that leaves us with an opportunity to add our own endings, our own projections, our own layers of possibility as well. And your reading style is really works well with that format. So you get really good. I don't know, I don't know what it looks like visually, but it sounds like it's true to your voice. So, and that's essential because if something's true to your voice, it doesn't get any better, any more real than that. Okay, quite honestly.
And I
Bravo.
hope to kind of mimic the rhythm of horse galloping too.
Yeah, well, the gait, the GAIT. I mean, for
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
it was just like, and horses are they're a font of wealth. They're essential, and I think about it, they came after the fifth extinction, after the KPG extinction. Grasses and horses came into being, right? So they are sacred. And so many nations hold horses sacred. And I loved that this horse went away and brought one back. So this farmer's wealth doubled. It doubled, maybe even tripled by just by letting the animals move of their own accord, back and forth, come and go. So that's very nice.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm going to read
Wow.
one more, even though
Okay.
it's still not the one. This is called my favorite philosopher.
Okay.
My favorite philosopher is Lao Tzu. You might be thinking, Lao who? And the simplicity of his thinking appeals to me. He requires very little belief, as well you might see. The local tribe in the place where I was born preferred a religion by and large I came to spurn. But it's not that it's foolish, it's not that it's dumb. Despite how long practiced, they don't seem to understand precisely how it's done. He references water, finds wisdom there, and yet his worshippers find no need to bind him to a chair. The knowledge you need, you'll find within. It's nothing at all about worshiping him. Letting go with Lao Tzu is an important theme. All this maintaining of formality and imposing of schemes often does little more for most of us than stifling our dreams. One of his favorite stories, he explains very well, is the dream of the butterfly you'll hear. He proposed in this spell. He dreams he's a butterfly, but awake he's a man. In the end, which is realer? On which foot does he stand? Each moment of perception has something to tell. To contend that one is realer, that seems pointless as well. Here's an
Wow.
example of his sort of teaching. You'll see in an instant the goal that he's reaching. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. This sort of elegant thinking, it seems, pulls most of the expectations apart at the seams. The example he's left us in fable and guide, all that pretentious striving can be left by the side. Simplicity, silence, listening within. You're always in church, divinity, simplicity with no banners to spin. Another example of his wisdom sheds much light. I urge you to listen. You might get it right. Kindness in words creates confidence. Kindness in thinking creates profoundness. Kindness in giving creates love. I've read many translations of books of wisdom, and very much goodness I have found within them. But the simple train of Lao Tzu's thinking gives me guidance and simple wisdom for living. I first saw the word Zen as a little child. My gentle Uncle Gene had several books with it. He was gentle and mild. A man of the world, a ham operator, globally connected. To him, this was gold. Although I've read widely in religion, over the years, the inclusivity I found brought me
Wow.
to this decision. I've read from
Hmm.
the Bible, the Quran, and such. I read from the Ramayana, the Upanishads much. I've read from the Egyptians and the Tibetan books of the dead. And I've learned such much wisdom and ultimately sheds much light you might find in both the celestial and the divine. I take the simplicity of Zen. I sense much refined. Take any road, I
Hmm.
urge you, my chum, with elaborate rituals or silence you come. To the simplest truth you'll find when you come. You'll find me, my friend, here and now, in the flowing, clear river of Zen.
Wow. 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 That's beautiful. It's a wonderful treatise on Lao Tzu, right? And what he represents and the whole Taoist. That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And and it was interesting to hear you read it because I don't know if you were where your whole rhythmic pattern shifted about maybe two-thirds into it and took on a different sort of flavor that worked. It was a continuum. It wasn't a break in something, but it took on a different pacing. And it was instead of doing this, it was now doing this. It was going bigger and wider and talking, it was lovely. When you want, if you to give up everything, you get everything. During that part of the poem is where the shift happened and the rhythm uh, expanded. There was expansion. It expanded, and I think a poem like that is really. mm, I started to say helpful, but what I mean is a hopeful introduction for people
Thank you.
if who may want to know more.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, my dear, my
Wow.
favorite part of this whole
Wow.
adventure is I get to ask my dear
Oh my
sister of
gosh.
light, Karen Pierce Gonzalez. Would you share some of your work?
Yes, my friend, you're so kind. I almost feel this has been so rich. I almost feel like I don't need to because it's been such a rich, such a fulfilling time with you that I don't need to, but I will share. I would like to read excerpts from my first chapbook.
My dear, the stage is yours.
Thank you, love. Thank you. This is Coyote in the Basket of My Ribs, and published by Alabaster Leaves, Kelsey Books. And this particular collection, and I think you will really appreciate this, um, Richard, given your spiritual, folkloric, anthropological fabric, your mythical fabric as well. This collection is an homage to Coyote, who was a messenger between life and death and can travel seamlessly between the two like night and day. And it's also an homage to my sister, whom I lost at a young age. I was 9, she was 5. They went to the store for me, and she never came back. So in that process, Coyote has been extraordinarily helpful for me. So, Coyote in the Basket of My Ribs. The series of dream sequences punctuated with poems about my sister. Coyote Dream 1. Fitful, in a den of sleep, taut coyote muscles twitch beneath my skin, spine arches, I pull blankets back. Impatient pause, push away my dream of domesticity to chase a deer running down a hillside that slides into a sea. Coyote cannot swim. Still, panting, she reaches the other shore. To sleep, I try again, count sheep but stop. When the wet, lone desert dog howls, meadowed flocks are not to her liking. She prefers uneven edges of nightfall. Its darkness dissolves the calm of my certainty about which shadows are tame enough to clothe and feed, to give pen, paper, and paintbrush to. Not every pocket of inner wilderness is meant to stay wild, is it? I am jolted by the squeal of Dawn's fast-moving tires turning the corner. Ears perked, I yell, "Run!" And Coyote does, before daybreak can fold her back into the sheets of the bed I have made. A photograph marked only kids. No mention
Beautiful,
of white. Thank
beautiful.
you, thank you, thank
You-
you, thank you,
I have
thank
to
you,
say,
thank you.
you, I could see you speaking as a shaman,
Yeah,
and this was such a beautiful benediction and explanation. Lovely, my dear, just
thank
lovely.
you.
Please
Thank
continue.
you. Thank you so much. A photograph marked only kids. No mention of why we gathered that February afternoon in the yard, a yellowed patch of stubbled grass sticking up through hard clay. Us posed by a blue and white Fairlane, parked on the road because our neighborhood didn't have driveways. That morning, my sister was laid in a pauper's plot, 4 rows up from a statue of lambs with Jesus who wasn't her shepherd. She was the only one of the gaggle missing. Lanky girls in floral dresses, scuffed brown shoes, husky boys in pants too long, too short. But I saw her in the corner of this black and white image, the shadowed wingspan of a bird flying off before the camera's lens could catch her. Coyote Dream 2. It has been weeks since Coyote slipped out of my fenced-in days that now begin with longing for her. A carnivore who cut her teeth on the raw edges of my heart, crimping the protective outer layer like it were pie crust. The coming of spring is early this year, chasing the rise and fall of your quick descent into earth. Drop, drop, dropping upon my shoulders. Rain reaches down, muddies the ground. I kiss where you lay. No matter how tightly I squeeze my lips together and breathe in, I cannot draw you back up. Coyote Dream 3. This morning, I pat the quilt for paw prints, anything to tell me, after hunting her new country in a seasonal coat I cannot brush or stroke, Coyote still knows where her home is. Alone, making breakfast, I whisper, make friends with pine and redwood. In the cold season, these evergreens shelter birds and squirrels from frost and snow. This is where Coyote, attuned to the slightest sound, will find food. To atone, tree dwellers live inside me too, tucked behind shoulder blades and the backs of my knees. I triple the birdseed and nuts scattered in the yard and pray that feeding 3 lives is a fair exchange for every one she devours. Had I opened my mouth, I would have begged my sister to come back. Not saying anything leaves her perched outside our shared room on a willow branch where starlight slippers her dangling bare feet. Coyote Dream 4. I am restless. Too many months without Coyote cramps me. Curled my hands and feet cling to nothing. Demanding night visits lead nowhere. In the last, she pads down an empty hallway, all doors, including mine, locked. Choose a hole in the furthest to escape. I bite my nails instead of trimming hers. Beads of blood tipped my fingers as they did when a yappy pup she grabbed a shoestring I was lacing. Back then, tug of war was a game we played until string ends frayed. Scorched. At some point, I'll tell you about it. It, not to please the crowd. Crowd looky-loos want tears. Tears and car crash drama. Drama draws sharp edge voices. My voice trembles. I keep details to myself, myself a wreck, hers metal to metal, metal crunching equals death, instant, instant cuts, quick and deep. It is gaping, will not heal easy. Easy ups the ante. Dice won't roll. Roll angry without direction. Direction closes my hand into a fist. Fist takes it in or gives it out. Out of reasons, I burn. Coyote 5. A silhouette on a jagged outcrop, she leans sure-footed into decisions I have taken long to make. A silhouette on a jagged outcrop, above a bedrock of uncertainty, she scrapes her hind legs, licks them, then moves on. A silhouette on a jagged outcrop, she does not look back. Lost days, hours, minutes aren't meant to be found. Somewhere it is morning, and a warm washcloth opens my eyes to a land that does not require passports to reach you. There, purple garlic flowers lean towards yes, the sun furthest away from where I am without you. Summer clouds cover fields of hope. Moments with you I may never, never, never love more than I do right now. Coyote Dream 7. Searching, not finding any trace of Coyote, I rock myself to sleep. Moments later, her tail brushes my face, her low whine playful to my ears. Her eager eyes, two moons, illuminate the blue haze of midnight. She wants me to catch her in corners where sinews stretched. She shoves against my tightening grip, then scampers back into the darkness through a window I will never close. And now the last 3 poems in this excerpt. Ferryman of Hades. Charon steers a wooden-planked boat of souls held in honey-lined urns across the river Styx for coins. Nothing, the ferryman says. Nothing, not even death, is free. Toward Cerberus, the 3-headed dog, he travels upstream, downstream, instream, carrying the departed unharmed to afterlife shores. But when my mother, still alive the day my sister dies, slips past the entry port without fee, boarding the vessel between life and death, Charon looks the other way. He sees she has left me behind, motherless, not ready to feed, clothe, and make shelter. The boat master watches me survive the 30+ years she huddles, numb by his feet. Then he pries my mother from the barge. Strong, cool hands lay her down on soft underworld sands. She quickly sinks in. Pushing off, Charon's deep voice leaps over the bow, skips across the water to me. Now, he calls out, now you can grieve. On the last 2 poems.
Wow.
Taking the plunge between 2 banks of blooming blue-eyed grass and wild raspberry vines, my heart jumps before the words can explain the leap. Tipping downwards, it dives into the rush of westerly winds and the cold, crisp splash of waking up. Currents carry the beating pulse towards a whirlpool. Sediment swirls, push it to paddle past drowning. Downstream, beavers build a dam of mud and reeds. And the final poem, Coyote Dream 10. Wow. Coyote dodges the headlights of sunrise, sprints to a cluster of chaparral sage, and glances back at me before nuzzling her narrow nose into the spicy herb leaves where, in ceremony, I first found her, cradled in the basket of my ribs.
Astounding. Really beautiful. Really.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm
definitely an opus.
Comparison. I have to make a comparison. One of my favorite poets in this world is a gentleman named Lantern Carrier. I don't know if you know his work,
No,
but
I don't.
he is a very, very spiritual gentleman, very much working with the Sri Chinmoy
Oh,
movement.
okay.
Every one of his poems is a benediction, whether
Wow.
he treats on life, love, or
Wow.
matters spiritual. You, my dear, are, I put in that same category. You awaken us to the spiritual power of the moment,
Mm.
whether you're addressing the mundane or the transactions we make as we pass from world to world.
Wow.
Thank,
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Wow. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here with you and to have been able to share this particular set with you. Thank you so much. Thank
Well,
you.
please continue if you can.
No, this was this was it's a larger collection, but this is what was appropriate today. This is what today's space held,
Okay,
and I trust that. It's
okay.
enough to take you through and take you out.
Well, I feel very blessed and I'm fully charmed by your
Oh,
presence and your light, my sister.
oh, thank you, sweet soul. Thank you. We've got to get together again because oh my
Yes,
God, the
yes.
synergy is palpable. Okay?
Well, I'm good. I've got some things I need to send you, obviously,
Okay. Yes,
and
yes.
and it's and it's an honor to be in your presence, my sister.
Mm.
I mean
Thank you,
that very
sweet
much.
stuff. Thank
Okay.
you so much. It's been a
Well,
blessing.
thank you. To have you here as a guest of Poets of the East has been a real honor, and I hope to see you very soon, my dear. Very soon.
Yeah, I hope so too, my friend. And stay safe and stay well and be in the moment. It's the only place to be, right?